Good evening, golfers. Get ready to be evaluated. Tonight we have Joe, Darren, TJ, and Andy. Stay tuned. Good evening once again, golfers. Thank you for joining the Reddit series. This is episode 9. Episode 10 is coming up soon. We have enough footage for that. And if you are interested in getting on episode 11 and beyond, link is in the description with the email to send it to and the instructions of what type of videos we need. So as usual, these are just my opinions. Take it for a grain of salt, not knowing anything about you, your current situation, your goals, your ball flights, your range of motion. It's really hard for me to kind of diagnose, but I'm just going to do this the best I can with what I have and the information that's provided to me. So first up here we have Andy. Andy's notes basically says started in July of 2021, so fairly recent, new golfer. Welcome. Only played one round of golf and no handicap. Used to get stuck with a push block or big hook misses. Got my first lesson in a couple weeks. Big thumbs up there. And now back to push misses and a few slices. Okay, well, just expect that when you work on things, it's not going to cure everything. You have to go through the challenges of working stuff out. I'm going to have a video coming out soon talking about practices and the effects of practicing correctly. So stay tuned for that one. But let's get right to it. So never seen these videos. Just like I just pull them up. It's kind of cool to do it that way. Already I see a huge forward lean. Only been playing for 6 months or so. Okay, really hyperextension on that left knee. Just be careful of that left knee. I already see that position there. That's kind of what Tiger came down with an injury for, his left knee. So just be really careful with that. Okay, not bad footwork. Balance is a little bit off. I'm not too much of a fan of this forward press. You see the ball position's in a pretty good position. It's right kind of in the middle. Not quite sure what iron this is. I'm assuming it's a mid iron, maybe 6 iron, 7 iron. But ball position's great. Hands pressing forward. If you extend that shaft out in front and keep moving it up, you can see that shaft is way ahead of the power source. The power source is the center of the chest. So I'm a fan. Personal preference here of getting your arms just to be more in a neutral position so they can connect to that chest. By putting your hands forward, it creates a lot of loft issues and also face angle issues that you could be trying to compensate for in your swing. This could cause a pretty big severe motion. Could be hooks or slices, just depending on the back view. But already I can just make that recommendation just to relax your shoulders, just give me your arms so they just hang down more naturally, and start playing that position more centered in terms of your chest. Takeaway, it's a pretty decent takeaway, one-piece takeaway. Nice gap between the forearms and the sky, so it's not getting too close. Actually, a beautiful one-piece takeaway. So not much breaking over there. You got some turn, that's really good. Arms are getting maybe a little bit high. I have to see from the back. Club looks pretty decent there. Club face is slightly shut to your left forearm, which means you have to get a lot of body involved coming through the golf ball, which I know you do because of that left knee. Weight shifting, you can see the left knee is leading the weight shift as opposed to letting that left hip push in that weight shift. So I just don't think that you're loading up correctly because it doesn't look like you're pushing much. Looks like you're just leaning with whatever you can. Left, you can see that knee's won the race. Should be almost a tie between your left knee and your hip. Pretty decent. I'd say, this chicken wing is what we call it, where this breaks down and you have to kind of hold on to it. I think it has to do with a lot with that forward press. You're not able to release it naturally just because your hands are so far starting anyway that they need to maintain that position. So this is just a result of, I think that definitely that ball position. Just give me the hand position in relation to the ball. And you have to really work your way around it now because of that shut club face. So all in all, just real basics for you. Check your grip alignment, set up posture, make sure everything's looking good. And part of your setup is that ball position and in relation to your hands. Okay, let's look at it from the back. All right, here we have Andy from the back. This looks Southern California-ish. That grass looks definitely Southern California. Let me know if it's Southern California. Although it hardly rains here. Okay, so that one-piece takeaway, you can see your hands kind of going up and out as opposed to just kind of stuck more to your body. So there's a little separation between your hands and your body. Okay, yeah, this is a big issue that all of us have, including myself, is we don't really stop our motion when we turn. So right at the top of your swing, that's about where your turn has been established. Look at that as your arm's stopping, because you can see the rest of this, there's no turn going on. And then your arms kind of suck back into no man's land, and they have to do this on the way down, to reconnect back to that power source. So just be careful of that. Maybe just work on some distance drills, keeping your hands out in front of your chest as you turn. Okay, you drop it in the slot. Club's probably a little bit lower. Yeah, it gets stuck there. So your club's getting stuck. I think that's just due to the hand position being way too far forward at start, and then this top position just getting a little bit too long with the arms and hands. They're trapped, and from there they have to come from the inside and just kind of hold on and do what you can. You do a really good job of squaring the club face up with your body. So all in all, for somebody that's brand new for 6 months of playing, this is a really solid swing. I'm glad you're getting lessons. Let me just put it that way. That's the best way to start, is just get educated with your swing, not so much everyone else's swing, because theirs doesn't matter. It's your swing that counts. And as long as you get that coach that you can trust and you have a good relationship with them, it's like a relationship. You have to do your work and they have to do their work. All in all, I think hands pressing and also arms not going so far back, that'll help you with your balance. But other than that, your core seems pretty good. Just really be careful of this left knee. That looks pretty scary there in terms of injuries, and you can see you have to flare that left foot out to avoid any excess rotation in that knee joint that you can tear something there. But other than that, welcome, good job, and I'm still guessing Southern California. Let me know. Next up, all right, folks, here we have TJ. Now let's see what TJ said in these notes. Finally warm enough to make it to the range, so that's a cue, probably Canada or New York. Although it was very windy, here's a down the line and face on view. Normally play in the 90s, never had lessons, so I'm interested to see my thoughts. Okay, let's take a look. Wonder how long you'll be playing. Yeah, look at that. Super windy. Okay, similar situation is what we just saw. Arm from this rear view, the arms just get should be stopping right about there. But again, look at all that extra motion that you don't really require. Don't get caught up with length. Length of backswing does not equate to further shots. It actually start losing distance. It becomes a pure timing game to get those hands back out in front of you in a third of the time. So this is a big issue with you. Club is fairly good in that position. Once it gets to here, it starts crossing the line, and that's going to create a lot of havoc for you. I assume. There's that turn right away, and your hands are behind the game here. They should be more out in front of your chest, so you have to get your hands really involved, and they kind of flip through. So I would see like that a little bit of a pull. Every now and then you might pull rope hook it or push it. So I see a lot of contact issues and direction issues just from that. From the top, it's just a lot of turn and not a lot of tilt. So that initial tilting of the shoulders. I think you're so focused on turning open. Try and bump that left hip towards the target. I'm going to see from the front view, but I suggest that your right hip might be bowing out the other way and tilting your upper body towards the target. And in order for you to compensate that, you should get that left hip to bump forward to kind of square out your shoulders so they can tilt more under, which will bring that right club further down into the plane, and then you'll start going in the slot more. And if you're not sure what the slot is, it's basically the imaginary slot in between the two plane lines. So there's your lower plane line, and here's your upper plane line. So you want the club to be somewhere in there in the downswing. And I did it again, so excuse me once again. My New Year's resolution already failed. Okay, upper plane line, pretty good there. From here, you just basically turn. Now your club's way in the top plane line. It should already be kind of working its way down. The angle's okay, but in terms of hand height, your hand should be much lower. And then there's the outside to in, getting some pulls, some slices, some hooks. So definitely right shoulder, tilt first. And by doing that, you got to get that left hip to push into the target. Let's take a look from the front view. Okay, so I haven't seen the swing. Let's take a look and let's see if that right hip moves right or out of the zone. That's a prediction. A little bit. Okay, it's not too bad. It's not as bad as I thought it was. You can see definitely, though, look at that top position, how it's leaning towards the target here. You know, it's so much excess tilt and turn that you don't need that. So same sort of thing. I know you're trying to get the weight to the right side, and that's okay to do that as long as you sway back and impact. But the top of your swing should really be about there, because from this point on, look what happens by you getting your arms to move back. See how that upper body leans towards the target? Now you really have to get that left hip to pump towards the target, which will then drop that upper body back. But I don't think you do it. I think you just turn from there. Yeah, so you're missing that drive with the left hip. I mean, you try to do a good job. You know, you look pretty athletic. You look like you can get away with it, but it's just a lot of top heaviness the other way, and that's going to shift your balance. It's going to shift your power source. You know, you can see from here your body's loaded, and it should be good. Now you can push off from that right side to the left side, but as you get to that position, you can see your weight's slipping to your left foot too early, the wrong way. Your upper body's leaning to the left instead of the lower body pushing to the left, and that causes a lot of, you know, tip-top motion. So sometimes you can hit the ball really well, and other times you hit it and you go, I don't know who that was, but it wasn't me. So I just see, again, too much motion. Try and stay more steady. Ball position looks okay. I would say maybe same sort of thing, leave the hands a little bit more centered. I'm not sure what club that is. If it's it looks, it's 8 iron, 7 iron, somewhere around there. It just looks very hunched over too. And once you get hunched over, you have to tilt to match that spine angle. So you do a good job, but just stop right there. That's all you need. And then from there, just fire back down instead of having to reconnect and you start losing your centeredness. So I hope that helps. This is more bigger picture stuff today, so I like it. And let me know if I'm right about my guess. I don't know if I gave you a guess, but I'm going to say New York. Looks very New Yorky. Next one. All right, folks, here we have Darren. Now, Australia? Eucalyptus trees in the back? Maybe. I'm going to say Australia. New Zealand, one of those. Let's see what Darren says. Darren, my friend would like you to review his swing. So, I don't know if this is Darren then. This is Darren's friend. So forgive me, Darren's friend. We're just going to call you DF. Okay, so let's take a look at DF and see what is going on. Driver. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw that already. Very forward on you're almost on your toes a little bit too much. Very hunched over for a driver. As you take that turn back, most of your weight tips down to your toes anyway because you're stacked on your toes and you kind of get stuck on your toes. So you're trying to push over, but it's mainly on the toes, and that's causing you to stand up as you hit the golf ball. So if you can time it, you can hit the ball fine. In terms of consistency, it's not going to be very consistent or reliant, especially if there is some pressure involved in terms of not pressure in the swing, but pressure in the situation. Let's say it's a tournament, or if you're out there and it's a skins game and you have to get a good drive down the middle, some pressure builds up. This isn't going to survive very well under pressure. And you can tell, I mean, look at that leaning tower there. I mean, it looks like, you know, if that club wasn't pulling you and holding you upright, you'd probably fall over. So it'll be interesting to see if you let me know if you're having a tough time with your balance. You can see, look at that right foot. The right foot has to brace the fall because you're so top heavy. So definitely more centered. Try and get closer to the golf ball so you're not reaching for it. You can see the arms are kind of reaching out for it. So closer, taller, feel your weight more in your center of your feet. That should definitely help you. In terms of the motion, I think some of this motion is caused by you reaching for it, so you have to still reach for it and try and get your body closer to the golf ball to help you get into that slot. So I think you'll be surprised that standing closer and taller and just be more centered will really help you. But let's take a look at the front, because that's gonna try and open our eyes here. I think your arms go back too far too. Okay, so nice wide stance, so you definitely look like you're going to hit the ball. Okay, a lot of lean right, which is okay if you stay back there. And then there's that shift forward. So I think your launch angle might be almost in the negatives. Yeah, look, the club's still going down. So I think your launch angle might be negative, which is not good. You want a positive launch angle. So I like this. I mean, I like this look here. Now, I don't mind seeing that because you got this massive lean over here. Now your job is to stay there and tilt from that position while you maintain that spine angle. That'll get your club to swing more on the upswing. You might have to tee it up a little bit higher, but I'd focus more on that. Good width though. I mean, you definitely have a lot of width of arc. And because now you're starting to shift back, you're losing your turn and now it's more like a stand up and just hold on. But I would imagine you still hit the ball pretty far, but I can just imagine how far you'd hit it with a more athletic setup. So definitely closer, taller. I don't mind this back lean, that's fine. Just stay back there as you turn and drive into the ball. So drive in and up. So as you're driving into here, so I'll draw this here. Okay, I'll draw your first spine angle, which is your setup. So we drew that one right there. Make sure to save that one so I don't break my New Year's resolution again. There's your new one. So you're pretty good. Look, you're still pretty close to that spine angle. But as you come down into impact, your spine angle shifted and it's leaning almost straight. So you're definitely a negative launch angle. You want to be closer to that original spine angle so you can hit up. And once your body shifted into it, now your hands have to activate. And there's a lot of distance loss because you're throwing your hands at it because of that shift. And then you're just along for the ride for the rest of the way. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that helps you understand how your setup affects everything. And also you're staying on that spine angle. But let me know about New Zealand or Australia. Next up. All right, last but not least, we have Joe. Joe's kind of hard to see where you're from. I'm going to guess somebody's basement. I think so. All right, Joe, let's take a look at Joe's notes. Joe's notes are blank, so that means empty. I can just say what I wish. Let's take a look. Similar swing as the last one. A little bit on your toes again. There's that lean. I suspect that's because that right hip is shooting underneath you, causing your hip to tilt the wrong way. And this view, you can kind of see it. Your hip's tilting the wrong way, which causes your upper body to tilt towards the target. But we'll be able to see from the other side. Just get a little stuck. Standing up. And trying to just hold on. So really good range of motion though. I mean, I like the way you turn aggressively. You can see you're definitely capable of the motions we need. So I don't think there's anything hindering you from striking this golf ball. Footwork, you definitely get a lot of it through. I mean, you're stepping off that right foot really well, receiving that power to your heel. You can see your heel staying fairly grounded. That spin with the left toe is quite common if you really accelerate through the ball. So nothing too out of sequence there. Club position is pretty far back there. But I'm wondering if it's back there because you're tilting the wrong way. So we'll have to see from the front line. From this line, you can definitely see heads bobbing, hips are kind of swaying the other way, but I think your truth will come out in the front view. All right, let's take a look at the front view. All right, so this is a very interesting camera angle. I don't know if I'll be able to see much, but we're just looking at this body, so that's what counts. Wide stance. Definitely tall tee, so you're trying to hit up on it. There it is, the same thing. So your spine angle's the wrong way here. You got nothing really to push off on. It's not loading correctly, so all your weight's still kind of stuck here. It's almost in your knee. It's just being absorbed here. Instead, there's not much on the right side to push off on. So you almost have to manufacture it. Let's see it come through the ball. Yeah, it's more of a lean. And then you're just kind of throwing whatever you can at it. And that's a sign when you see that right foot drag along, that's a sign that there's nothing really there to push into. So you just kind of muscle the ball through. This is a very muscle motion. And you seem like a strong person, so it's mainly just muscling it through. And you can tell on that release here, I mean, look how much your shoulders have turned through the golf ball and your hands are kind of just delaying. But yeah, so same sort of thing. So here's your starting angle. We'll draw that spine angle. So it's a pretty good setup for that spine angle. So your hands are still connected to your power source. The club's following that power source. So everything's connected. Tee's nice and high because now you're trying to hit it on the upswing. As you take that top position, look at your new spine angle. It's almost the other way now. So you can see it's like it's at the very worst it's straightened out, but it's almost leaning back. So you have a little seesaw action going there. So at some point you're going to have to return to that spine angle. Let's see if you're able to do it at impact. Okay, I did it again. It's just too much time in the sun. That'll do it to you. Okay, and there's your new spine angle. So it's close, but it's ahead of the golf ball. So, just remember, whatever spine angle you set for the top of your position, if you move off of it, that's okay. But ideally, you want to stay on that original one, which is this one on the left. You want to stay on that, you want to turn on that, and you want to turn through on that line. You see really strong golf ball hitters actually get increase of spine angle the other way. So the deeper you hit it, I mean, you're looking like, that's a little too exaggerated. I don't know if you want to look like that, but you probably look like that. So there's your original one, and then your new one will be way back here. Now you're hitting it on the upswing. So same sort of thing, and that'll help you keep your weight on that right foot longer, so you have something to push off on instead of just trying to muscle whatever you can muscle through. So I hope that really helps you guys. Just remember, just because you think the club's going back to parallel doesn't necessarily equate to power. It actually eliminates power in certain situations. I just did a video yesterday about that myth. So I still see a lot of people, even myself, I find myself going back too far. And for me, I have to feel like I'm swinging halfway sometimes, and I'm really swinging almost full. So it's a perception issue. It really helps to take video of yourself. If you have live feed, if you can do that, put Bluetooth camera behind you and then put the iPad in front of you. Also, if you just have a mirror work, really works well. So kind of the same subject on all swings, all ages, all ranges, which is great. And I hope this really helps you. And remember, don't do this unless you're supervised by a coach, PGA professional, where he or she can really help guide you. This is just my advice, just based on how I think and how I teach, but it's not set in stone. So good luck to you. If you like this content, hit that subscribe button. It really helps grow the channel. If you know anybody that wishes to submit their videos, link's going to be in the bottom. And I will see you guys when I see you for episode 10, our 10th anniversary, hopefully of 100. Fairways and greens.